it that time again?
It is.
It's time to say hello.
Hello.
Hello. It's that
Hi.
time again. Oh my gosh. It is another episode of Always Strikes Last. Hello.
Not late? Oh my goodness.
I
It's not
know.
even late. It's just regular time. Regular time always strikes last.
Yes.
I'll
Not
take
that
it.
anybody actually has a concept of the time that we are
No, no.
recording.
No, never. It's only an inside joke for us, like every good podcast.
Yes.
Well, honestly, if you were paying attention to the intro music, you would know what to expect.
Yeah. I
Because,
mean, but like, why would anybody pay attention to that?
I don't
Because you
know.
do a
But
good
yeah,
job, Matt.
They're
this is
here to.
OG episode. You get the season one intro music.
Ooh.
They're here to listen to us talk, not to listen to my bad compositions. Come on now.
And even better, they're not here to listen to us talk. They're here to listen to our wonderful guest.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. We have Christine. Welcome to the podcast. Thanks for joining us. She is known as Hook and Pin on all of the various
All the
places to be on
socials.
the internet.
All of the socials.
Yes. Been following for years myself, actually. So I'm actually really
I
excited
know.
for this.
I know.
I do
I was
love
just
all
like-
your hobbying. Yeah. Yeah, no, this is great.
Absolutely.
Rocco's eyes, for those listening, are about 3 times the normal size of Joy.
Oh, I'll open them wider.
And you just see like blinkers, like for eyes, just go, what the hell?
Very exciting. Oh,
Well, this is awesome. So Christine, you've been kind of a big name in the hobby space, especially on the internet for quite a long time. How did you get into this hobby?
Well, it started way back when in 2018 when I saw the Golden Girls that were the daughters of Cain. And I
Ooh.
sat there and I was like, the beloved Marathi, where she feels constantly, thwarted by every single thing that comes near her. I'm like, girl, I feel that pain.
Mhm.
I feel
Yeah.
your pain, love.
yeah.
And I came up with the idea of just saying, sod it, like I'll pick up some models, like I'll paint them when I paint them, not a problem. Got the Daughters of Cain book, and me and my husband decided to take a bit of a breather from the hobby until the following May, because I experienced a miscarriage.
Oh no.
So I'm always like really upfront about it. I'm actually really able to talk about it now more than ever.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's something that's not really talked about like much when it comes to
Oh, fair enough.
like men and women in the hobby, and
Mhm.
they thems in the hobby, our friends.
Yeah.
But it's just like we took a breather, and then I was at that time moderator on Rob's Honest Wargamer channel,
Mm.
which I still have
Yeah.
so much love for Rob. I still have so much love for him. And I got a message off of Scrivo saying, Christine, you fancy coming Bobo? And
Ooh.
at that time, it was the Bravery One British Open, which was
Okay.
run by a couple of Johns,
Mhm.
and up in Lincoln in Lincolnshire, which is about 2 and a bit-ish hours away from me.
Okay.
And I thought, yeah, sod it, why not? So I learned how to play Iron Jaws, as in a cobbled together list of goblins,
Mm-hmm.
a wyvern,
Mm-hmm.
big Maw Crusher mate, and a few other little bits and bobs. And I was like, yeah, sod it, let's do this. I completely tanked it. I just screwed up most of my games, but I was like, sod it, I'm here to have fun, want to
Mhm.
have a laugh. And I was like, I'm hooked, man. I'm hooked on the hobby.
Nice.
Nice.
2 weeks later, I was at the doubles for Warhammer World with
Okay.
one of the best Iron Jaws players you will ever get the privilege of being on the table with, Tom. He's got an eidetic memory for rules,
Mhm.
and it's fantastic. And I learned so much out of being his partner, and everyone was like, you're getting him to talk? What the hell?
Oh yeah.
It's like, this guy is speaking and conversing with the general public. What's going on? Because he's not known for being particularly
Verbose.
nice.
Fuzzy.
Like, yeah, he's not very. I don't know how to describe him. He's just very concealed. He likes to conceal how
He's
he
stoic.
is. yeah, let's run with stoic because I like that
Yeah.
sound. But yeah, he was a good lad, and I was like, yes, excellent. I like that plan.
Mm.
And a week after that, I was at the UK Games Expo in Birmingham, England, which is a big like comic and tabletop games convention. And I
Hmm.
was like, I'm gonna pick up some Iron Jaws. Sod it. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
So much fun.
And
But
you've
yeah,
been
That's
walking ever
fantastic. And
since.
then what is
exactly.
it? You and I met was it
Warhammer World.
yeah, Warhammer World
Oh.
2022?
Yes, it was.
That
Yeah.
sound right? Yeah, and
Yeah.
it was a GT, and I think I played Paul first round.
You did, yeah, because
Yeah.
both you and him were just having like an absolute whale of a time, which was, and he was just like, I'm so happy to be here and in the hobby and enjoying all of this. I'm like, yeah,
Nice.
man.
Nice. I so we have a thing, and maybe we'll get to it later, but Rocco has this thing of asking everybody what their pre-GT or their pre-tournament ritual is.
Yeah.
But
What
I
gets
was
you in the
struck
mood? What gets you in the
but
zone?
I
How do
was
you
really
focus?
excited to hear about your post-tournament ritual, which
Oh.
Yeah,
was to go home and watch a Disney movie.
too bloody
Okay.
right. Yeah, we go
Ah,
Okay.
home. We choose a Disney film. We just sit down. We just chill out. We've got our cat Zeb as
Mm,
well, and we just chill out with him. Just sit there, just watch a Disney film, just to unwind the brain, and
sure.
just talk about what we think like went well, what didn't go well in the games, how I'm
Okay.
feeling after it as well, because I have a couple of invisible conditions, one of which is called fibromyalgia, which is
Oh
a
my
chronic
gosh.
pain disorder. It's a big, long,
Hmm.
bloody
Yeah.
word to just say in a lot of ouch all the time.
Yeah.
It's like being crumped by iron jaws consistently.
Oof.
Mm,
It's exactly the same feeling. I feel
Yeah.
that.
mm, yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, it's just
Okay.
literally just chilling out and just taking time.
I like that. No, I like that unwind,
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
bit of a post-mortem,
Decompression.
reflect on what happened,
Mm.
Mm,
mm-hmm.
and also, checking in with yourself. And one of the reasons we wanted to have you on to chat was because, a lot of us have gone through, some amount of uh invisible disorder,
Mm.
or
mm,
an disorder that we mask particularly well,
yeah.
whether it's invisible or not.
Now, this hobby definitely does appeal to a lot of people, whether it's things with anxiety, some
Mm.
PTSD, all kinds of different mental health, whether they're disorders, delays, full-on disabilities, you name
Mm.
it. This ends up being a space that, through the use of our imaginations, through being able to hobby
Mm.
and paint, to be some kind of a almost a therapeutic outlet, to the
Mhm.
games themselves being a great way to socialize for those that have issues with it, to have that shared language. And
Exactly.
you've got some experience with it.
Yeah, exactly. It's yeah, for me it was like just getting into the hobby was more a case of just getting to know people, getting to understand
Mhm.
what people are like.
Mm,
Because like my husband's not the most social bloke. He really doesn't like being around too many people.
mm.
Sure.
But I've started to find that I actually dislike crowds more and more.
Okay,
Like,
okay.
Yeah.
so going to a tournament is kind of like you're in a room with like these 100 other people, and you're like, this is a lot of bloody people. It's a
Yep.
lot of
Yeah,
bloody people.
Sure.
Yes, it
yeah.
is.
And
It's
you have to try
loud.
and like figure out like how you're going to keep yourself checked in and be able to stay like in the moment of the game as opposed to getting
Mm.
drawn into something else where someone's just rolled a 6 and someone's rolled a 1 on being able to like go first,
Sure.
and you're like, oh man,
Some other
it's one
orc
of
player is shouting "wah" at the top of their lung.
exactly, so you
Yep.
have to join in, you have to scream war at the top of your lung back,
Yeah,
make them know who's boss,
there you
who's the big
go.
boss.
All right.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I know, Matt, like I think since you've known me, I've had my shoulder has been absolutely screwed up. So
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
I had double dislocation
Oh.
and lost a lot of motor
Ooh.
function in my back, and it's been
Mm.
a long amount of PT uh
Yeah.
to get that going again. And yeah, I started playing Gargants as a result, because it's a
Hmm.
really low model count.
Yep.
The
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
models are
remember
tall. You
that
don't got to bend as much.
that discussion we had. I remember when we were first talking about like you moving to Gargants, and it was more like, how do you settle for being able to play the game that you want to play that is so important to you, as
Yeah.
well as like, you know, take proactive steps towards keeping yourself healthy.
Hmm.
That was a discussion I remember happening over the course of a month, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Because
And
I
like, uh,
had a rough patch, I think, whenever that was, 2018, 2019.
something like that, yeah.
Yeah, that
And
sounds right.
the amount of just moving things around with KO, which Miles was playing at this point in time,
With
like
all his
we'd get
hats.
done with the tournament, and it was, I think it was one in Bellingham specifically that really drew it out, where
Okay.
I'm driving us back, and like I can see Miles just like smiling in pain, and just like him
Hey.
finally reaching that threshold of like, I can't move all of these ships around to every board edge and then
Yeah.
pull models and put them down.
Yeah.
And it was uh kind of, in hindsight, like an interesting point of inflection too, like seeing your decision process start to change as a player, instead of the I'm
Sure.
all in, screw my health.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Okay. Maybe I
Hmm.
need to dial this back a little bit. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
And
especially when you play like Daughters of Cain as well, because has an incredibly high model count.
Oh
yeah.
Especially
yeah.
if you play like the Witch Elf list, or
Hmm.
even if you run the Melisai list, it's still going to be a really high model count, and that's a
Hmm.
lot of models to move when you're in a lot of pain. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm
Well,
kind of like Iron Jaws, just like a big block of just whatever, just chuck it
Hmm.
forward, hope for the best.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it because I'm actually doing the all Malusai list right now. And
Ooh,
I also broke my back and my hips in a very bad accident. So I've
oh
fused
wow,
vertebrae, and a couple
Ooh.
of rods going through my hips.
oh my
So
Okay.
about
god.
the
Okay.
middle of a tournament in one day, I will
Hmm.
be the most miserable man you've ever seen. If there's a game I'm guaranteed to most likely lose,
It's game
it'll be
two.
this. It'll be game two on a 3-day
Uh-huh.
Yep,
tournament.
Okay.
yep.
And
So I know when to catch you.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
and so, like for me, I haven't reached that point where I can deny my mania yet,
Mm.
like Miles accurately and smartly did.
Hmm.
I still
Hmm.
try and power through it. That
Yeah.
Okay.
does come with a couple of different, things of like, well, how do I mitigate this, because I'm still a little bit too gung-ho for my own good, most likely.
Mm.
um
Yeah.
All right. So I'm
and
seeing
that
my future ahead of me because I've also broken my hip twice.
Ooh.
see.
Boys. Huh. Yeah, I did it actually. The first time was in high school playing football. Not for my team. It was in my neighborhood with all
Oh
the fellas.
man.
Yep.
Oh,
And
that's the
then
best though.
I
Yeah.
was
Were you
limping.
doing
I'm
full
like, oh, I'm
contact, or were you
fine.
doing
Oh,
flag
full
waiting for the
contact, full
bus?
contact, I
Yeah,
actually
you
covered a 22-year-old when I was fucking 15.
Look at this
Um,
guy.
and yeah, that's why I walked onto my college's football team too. But the reason I didn't do it in high school was I got hurt and I went to
Oh.
gym class the next day. And I'm like, okay, I'm jogging, did the mile, whatever, it's fine, and we're playing kickball for whatever reason. And it was like even half a mile to walk to the field from the school. I go to kick, I make contact. I'm like, huh, that's weird. I can't run anymore. I'm trying to like run to
Oh
first base. I'm
no.
like, huh, I'm limping. That's and like, oh, Rocco, you probably pulled something, pulled your groin, whatever. Go up to the nurse's office. I'm like, cool. So it's a half-mile walk uphill. And I'm like, huh, I have to pick my right leg up and put it down in order to be able to move it. That's fucking weird.
That's new.
Yeah, that didn't happen 5 minutes ago.
It's like, what's that doing like that?
Yeah. And that was the first time. The second time, I was actually at a chiropractor, and I still had something in my pocket, so I made it
Ooh.
my own fulcrum, unfortunately.
Oh God.
Um, and I have a very high pain tolerance, so I'm like, oh, that's weird. It's out of place. It's whatever. And like a month goes by, and it's slowly getting worse. I'm like, I don't know if I pulled something that's muscular or what. And I can't feel that my hip is broken. as the crack gets bigger and bigger. I get married. I pick up not only my wife through the threshold, my 300-pound friend, because I'm still working out too through all this. I'm like, oh, this is really weird.
Please.
We go to Disney World in Florida, whichever one it is. We go to Disney in Florida, and my wife has us walk, God, 10 miles in a day of going back and forth because she'd never been. And
Oh
she
yeah,
got
it's really easy to do there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, each attraction too on either side of the park. Once we got there, she's ha ha. I'm like, okay. By the end of the night, I'm like, huh, this is really fucking weird. Turns out my hip was broken the whole time.
Nice.
And so okay, so I'm seeing the future here.
Yeah.
I didn't even tell you I'm blind in my left eye. So part of my thing too is, oh yeah, that was at birth. That was at birth. That's always been there. So when I play Warhammer, my head's really tilted. I have to be really careful about where I put my dice and shit because I just can't see it.
I'm just gonna start calling you like Nick Fury or something. You know, it's like because he's always turning. It's just like that's exhausting.
Again, my eye looks fine. No one ever knows. So I don't wear an eye patch or anything. But
you could.
I could.
I mean,
you could.
Yeah.
Think about it. I don't know.
There's a plan.
I mean,
just to make that less hidden. But
I mean, at the very least, you have the precursor for a pirate costume, right?
That's true. That's true.
Exactly.
Though they did it so that when they went below decks, they could switch eyes, so the eye was already, used to being dark.
Oh, was that it? I thought we just had a large number of
injuries. Yeah, that's actually history nerd. I'm a nerd of many different flavors. I do TTRPGs too, motherfucker. I'm all kinds of nerdy. Sports
it's
nerd.
Like you see that nerd? I see that nerd, and I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna run with that.
Damn right, Christine.
Yeah.
So, we all got our shit.
Yeah,
absolutely. But how are we dealing with it, people? Part of it
absolutely.
Too with me and all the pregame rituals and things. It's also, in a sense, kind of different like coping mechanisms into being like, I need to have the routine to be set in my way so I don't accidentally fuck off and do something stupid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
And whether that's to accidentally end up hurting myself, because now I've had so many broken bones and things, again, my pain tolerance is stupid. Whether it's, making sure that I actually put my shit down where I can see it and I get talking to somebody and realize my important units to my left eye. So when I even go to my dice, all my dice tray and things are on my left side on the table. So then I'm always looking out at everything.
Okay.
And it's just small things that I have to do physically just to be present and be like my loss rate if my dice tray is on my right side is horrendous because I'm not paying attention to half the shit. I don't have the peripheral vision to be like, oh yeah, there's that unit there, there's this here. No, I'm turning my full head to look.
That's a stat you need to look at, really, isn't it?
Just
sit there. It's like the win to loss ratio of where you place your bloody dice tray.
Yeah. Yep. Which is silly. Like that sounds really stupid if you don't have the context, right? But it's true for me.
I can understand though. The worst part is I can understand it as well.
Yeah, and you get people with like object permanence too.
Yeah.
With some of this with like ADHD, where if they put their unit behind the trees, right? You can't.
It's gone. That thing is gone. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like that line of sight blocking is just right there.
Literally.
It's just like, where did my friend go? I don't know. He sat there going, "You'll never find me." Mm-hmm. He'll never find me. He'll leave you here now.
You're right. You never will. But like units with deep striking too, one of the things I had to do was make sure that it's on the table, but off to the side so I don't have it in the tray underneath the table.
Oh man.
And then I'm just looking there, I'm like, I'm missing 500 points of my army.
It's like,
but where's some of my start cast? It's 1,000 because it's like unit up, unit down.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh crap, remind me, turn 3. Oh crap, remind me, turn 3. Oh, what do you mean it's round 4?
Yeah.
Oh man.
It happens.
It does.
For me, I know that I have like a little safe bag with my ibuprofen. I always try and get at least, I try and bring water with me, and then I will, as like a pre-ritual, try and go and grab more water because I know for me that's super important. Mm-hmm. One of the other things too is like I will just bring my headphones if I need to go outside and just reset
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Because I also have like high anxiety in large groups of people, especially from a lot of noise. I think
Mm.
I know Miles has at least caught me having like a little like minor freak out because it's just too loud
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
can't really understand what's going on. So for me, I know that that's very important to do. In between games or just saying, "Hey, keep rolling, keep doing what you're doing. Trust you. I need to head to the bathroom or
Yeah.
something for just a quick reset." And that helps with the pain tolerance too for me.
Okay.
Uh, so
But yeah, because you can
because
reset your back,
yeah,
stretch,
and
do
just
something.
resetting your
Okay.
mindset, right? A lot of that
Yeah.
pain, I know you had the same like high pain tolerance after having chronic pain for a long time. It's something that
Hmm.
a lot of people get, and we don't realize how much we can overextend ourselves when we're used
Yes.
to chronic pain.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you realize
Yeah.
it afterwards because you're so in the moment, right? It's
Oh
like,
my
oh yeah,
God.
that's going to be with me for the next week and a half. That
Hmm.
Exactly.
one extra stand, right? So
Yeah.
for me,
Yeah.
it's as soon as I start to feel a little bit slowing down, or I feel like I'm getting a little bit more anxious, it's
Hmm.
usually a realization that the chronic pain is actually flaring up, and my mechanisms to deal with that chronic pain are kicking in, which
Okay.
can make me more irritable or yada yada yada. And that's a
All
good
right.
sign of a reset. So that's generally what I like to do. And then just
Mm.
destroy my liver with, as much ibuprofen as possible. Or is
Oh,
it
sure.
stomach? I
Sure,
think
sure,
it's
sure.
stomach, right?
Yeah,
It's
stomach.
both.
Whatever.
It's probably both at this point.
601. Yeah,
Yeah. It's like for me and like my husband, we tend to have like our gaming bag, so we'll have like
Mm.
all of the what we need in there. So we'll have the
Yeah.
ibuprofen, the paracetamol. Obviously, being a female in the hobby, I'm obviously have other bits and bobs that I might need as
yeah. For
well.
sure.
Yeah.
You know, got to make sure that everything's all catered for in there. And
Hmm.
sometimes we'll even bring like a hot water bottle,
Oh
just to
God.
put it on
Yeah.
my back,
Oh, that's a
you
good
know.
Yeah.
idea.
And it's not great during like the heat of the summer, but
Oh
it
sure.
does help. But
Sure.
it's like I take antidepressants as well, so I always have to make sure those are with me as well.
Hmm.
Mm.
But it's just
Yeah.
like it just feels like the bag is getting like heavier and heavier, like with
Shit.
with all this shit I got to bring with me to the bloody
Yeah.
games.
So
But
what about, and this is an idea here,
Okay.
cargo pants and tool belt.
yes,
So you've got
I would,
everything evenly distributed,
Uh-huh. Nerds are already
distributed
wearing
as
cargo
opposed
shorts
to,
with all the pockets. Why don't we use
right?
the pockets?
Yeah.
I was,
Cargo pants, tool belt.
the drawback behind that is women's cargo pants don't have fucking real pockets.
You're
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's the
you're right.
issue.
You're
So I'd
right.
have to go to like an army surplus to go and get some military pants, some
Okay.
military trousers, and
Okay.
like at least then I could have a metric ton of like comfort. But at the same
Yeah.
time, they are so heavy as well because like
They are.
the
They
British
are.
military ones are made from really thick cotton
Mm.
because they're so used to keeping their guys warm because we're from
Mhm.
such a cold climate. I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck off. It's not that cold. Not that fucking cold. And it's like, look, the lowest we get to is like -3 in
Yeah.
Northamptonshire. We don't need to worry about that.
yeah.
Okay.
I
Nice.
definitely so my ritual involves definitely preloading the ibuprofen before the match.
Mm.
And then
Mhm.
the real critical piece for me that I forget all the time is
Mm.
to sit down for a majority of my round one.
Oh God.
Yes.
I
I
can
forget
never,
that.
I
I
can
get
never
into
remember that.
uh-huh.
Mm.
Nope.
Because
Because
I
you're
don't
right.
feel it. I don't feel it the first round, and then by the time I feel it, it's way too late.
Yeah, as
You
soon
know?
as the
Yes.
ibuprofen starts to wear off, and you're like, huh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's weird.
So,
Stretch
and
that
actually, I
out.
wanted to point out, like I know, I think everybody in this hobby at one point has complained about the table height, whether it's too high or
Oh
too low,
God.
whatever.
Yes.
Yes.
And tables of varying heights are the
Uh-huh.
worst. And I wanted to point out at Warhammer World, the tables are incredibly low, but
Yes.
but
But
they have stools at every single table, and
okay.
those
Yes.
stools are exactly the right height for you
Uh-huh.
to sit and have good arm reach
To
across the
move your
entire
stuff.
table.
Ah,
Unless
okay.
you're under 5'6", which I am,
Oh,
then
fair
you
enough.
Uh-huh.
can't reach shit.
Damn.
You have to get
Well,
like
was...
a booster seat or something. Just go, excuse me, sir, could you pass me my models? It's so bloody annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But like my husband's he's 6'4", and
Okay.
he's a very tall dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like those tables at Warhammer World are just ever so slightly too short for him. For me, they're just about right. But it's still not great. They could probably be like half a foot higher, perhaps.
Okay.
Unless obviously you've got somebody that is possibly wheelchair bound, then you'd have like the slightly shorter table. That'd be fantastic because that'd be really helpful for them. But it's just trying to like weigh up all of those different, like, you need to have comfortable chairs because not all, all of us are not getting any younger. But at the same time, you've also got more and more people. No. And in this hobby as well, you've got more and more people with varying like physical conditions coming into it. So like myself with the fibromyalgia, and being able to sit between rounds comfortably is so difficult, to the point where I think at one point in Warhammer World I was led down on the floor because I was just like, you carry on with your turn, you're all good. You're all good. You carry on.
Call me.
It's
Call
like,
me when we're done.
Are you okay? It's like, are you okay down there? No, I'm fine, mate. I'm fine. I'm just resetting my spine. It's okay. Just using the cobbled floor to be like a chiropractic mat.
Oh yeah.
It's lush. It's really nice and cold as well.
Oh,
nice.
That's nice.
No, it is. It is a concrete slab in there. From what I remember.
Yeah, it's still a concrete slab.
Firm enough though. You just and you oh wow,
crunch back into position.
Like I'm a pretty sociable, jovial guy, and you'll definitely catch me between rounds just sitting by myself in a corner in the chair because I need to chill.
Yeah.
I literally physically cannot stand any longer right now, and I know I'm gonna have to do it for 3 more hours. So somebody needs,
Yeah, and even just the at the end of a tournament, like hanging out with friends, and the entire time, like sometimes I will just be kind of like off in a corner, just like recuperating. Especially from a GT, I will be like, okay, you guys do the awards and everything. I'm gonna go sit all the way over here, so I can like reform like myself, physically and mentally,
like, pushing himself back together.
Just
feel that,
On the off chance I win anything, they can wait.
Yes.
It's like I will slowly walk up there. It's fine.
Everything will be okay. Sports in a minute. Okay.
Yeah, it's like I'll come up and get my best painted. Just bear with me, boys. Bear with me. That was brilliant though, because at Warhammer World, they've really, because one of the chaps that works there, Ed, he's got problems with his legs.
Okay.
He has got very, very bad problems with particularly his Achilles tendon, so it'll flare up. And he'll be walking along, and then all you'll just see is his leg just go and give out.
Shit.
Yeah. It's like he's a fabulous dude. So when I said to him first off that, I have problems with my back and, I can get very painful after long periods. And he was like, let me go find you a more comfortable chair. And I'm like, love it. It's like winning. Nice. But then you go to like some of the independent venues, and there's one in the UK called Element Games where you have to go up 2 flights of stairs to be able to get to the gaming hall. And it's really frustrating because just after we opened up the world after the Great Lockdown, there was a one-way system in place where it involved you going down a really rickety staircase to go back outside. And I was like, no, you're opening up that bloody front door. I'm going out that way. Because if I don't go that way and I fall over, this is on you.
Yeah.
Because my back was fucked at that point. It was just like, no, I need to get out of here.
Yeah, it's interesting how accessibility hasn't really reached into our hobby too much. Part of that I think comes from, being the people in the basement to suddenly Warhammer over the past, 5 years exploding into a much larger space.
Definitely.
For sure.
As like somebody who's like done a lot of like independent music stuff, like there are venues where There's a horrible venue. It's a great venue. Everybody there is awesome. They're
Who wants to go back too, by the way? This is
just as a musician, we would run into this all the time. You're carrying heavy gear upstairs, set up, breakdown, get off stage. Everything has to move quickly after you do your performance. But like when it's interesting, and I'd like to see it progress a little bit more. Like with Warhammer, there's a lot of setup and breakdown time for people who are running the events, which is great.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like accessibility for the players, you know, the venues that we get, we lease them, you know, we have to find them. It's usually like kind of a harder prospect to get into, right?
Yeah.
So generally you're going into halls where it's got, you know, metal chairs and like tables that are very low or very high. And so at the moment, like, it can be a struggle. It's interesting to see that everybody here so far has like found their way to kind of navigate it in a way that works for them.
And hi, Jack. We're sharing all of our ailments.
Yes.
Yeah,
how we're dealing with them. Are you a perfect sunflower over there? Or?
I'm just
Jack
listening.
is a picture of health.
Yeah.
Picture. My God.
From the neck up, the rest of me is a mess.
Oh, good. We're all on the same playing field here. All right.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to join a little late today, guys, but yeah, no, I'm here for this. It's quite a wide array, you know, different sort of challenges that our community faces because we're a bit itinerant, right, up to this point. You know, like I really resonate with that situation where you walk to a tournament and it's not like you go to the renowned AOS gaming hall with all the right amenities to make everyone happy. It's more like you're sitting above like a Waffle House in someone's rentable attic, you know?
Yeah. And the aisles between the tables are always too tight and you have to weave through
man,
you know,
God.
And I get why we have to do it. I get the situation. Like I'm not, you know, I get why TOs have to do these things, you know, but
and shout out if you have a space where you could actually walk around each table too. That's just
it's rare.
So rare. But when you get it,
as rocking horse.
it's hard as a TO to find those places in a place where you can get the you know, get the budget down enough, right, to where it's an accessible ticket price for everyone. Like, because I know we're talking about physical and mental, but even like on a social status, right?
Financial.
Like this hobby itself is a little bit
it's a luxury hobby,
right?
It is.
It is a luxury.
This is fair.
I'd still say Magic at the Gathering is more expensive.
Yes. Yes.
I will agree. I've taken a couple looks at the cost of the cards as I walked by while I'm picking up my you know, like $15 spray paint. And I've been like, what is this nonsense? And stormed off and bought another can of spray paint just because it was cheaper.
To be fair to that situation, I think there is a route that the most disciplined and monk-like amongst Magic players could take when they're like making decks from the commons pile and like only having a few like play boosters a year. But for the vast majority of folks who enjoy cracking open collector boxes to get like that sweet rush of gambling addiction, it's not the same thing.
No.
This is the thing, is like my husband, every time he gets like any of the new Magic boxes, so he'll crack them open, he'll have all the booster packs, and he always pulls the really good stuff.
Good for him.
Dude.
Yeah.
You need to go and buy a lottery ticket because we need to earn some extra. Come on now.
That is exactly right.
This is the way.
Like the high roll should not be wasted like a ragavan to pilfer. Like, you know,
exactly. I was just like, it's a very luxury hobby that we are in. You know, especially when your basic foot troop heroes are now like £26 in UK money. That's a lot of money when you look at the Aussie conversion, obviously Canadian conversion. You've got, you know, obviously your American
poor New Zealand too.
I know the poor Kiwis, and I'm like, man, that is expensive. It's like I do look at it and I'm like, you know, if I want to start a new army, obviously I'm not short of models at all. But
Mm.
at the same time, it's still a case of, say, if I wanted to drop into OBR, that's not cheap. That's
No.
not
No, of
cheap
course
at
not.
all. Like,
Oh,
you know, it's a case of looking at local buy to sell groups, things like that, from, you know, looking at the finances and going, you know, this person's selling their 2,000 point army for like 500 quid. Fantastic. That sounds like a steal. But then it ends up not being a steal. And yeah, there's all the other aspects to it, like the painting side of it. And how do you paint when you have those, you know, whether, like, for example, like yourself, Rocco, you're blind in one eye.
Yep.
So, you know,
I
the
paint
visual
very
impairment.
precise. There's a lot of dry
It's like,
brushing.
yeah, dry brushing
There's a
is
lot
God.
of dry brushing.
Dry brushing is God for this hobby. It's brilliant.
Oh my God.
So agreed.
I remember some interview with Chris Peach a long time ago, talking about how his dad has it's like MS or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, something like that. And but as a result, he just became a master dry brusher. And
Yes.
he's like, and Chris was like, to this day, like he's the best dry brusher. Like he gets stuff out of dry brushing that I've never seen.
Yeah.
So
It's
I think there is untapped potential there, Rocco, in dry brushing.
Oh God, yeah.
Seconded on
I've
that.
done Adepticon stuff, which is a very hobby forward convention here. Just for all the different tournaments, all the things. And I've gotten good paint scores. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I don't want to say how long it took me to paint all this stuff to get the really good paint scores.
Yeah.
But we got there.
Yeah, get there in the end.
Oh my God, my actually Miles, you might, because it was you that gave me the scheme for my Deepkin.
Yeah, and we talked about how to do
noir,
how to layer the muscles. Yeah,
yeah, with the 5 shades of gray I have to use to go and build up all of that. That was again, you'd think it would be easy, but no. And I'm just, my hands are shaky. I'm like, all right, here we go.
So I got this. Like holding it like right close to your face, just going, come on, let's do this.
My favorite has to be eyes, because once I'm doing that, like I have nerve damage from all of that, so I'll get random jerks.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that really happens when I'm like really concentrated into something.
Oh, of course.
Like I'll just have this is looking great. Okay, awesome. It's time to add the eyebrow. Oh, cool. There is a new tattoo for their head. Awesome.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Every time I screw up on like whenever I screw up on faces, and I'm like, there's this massive line, I'm just like, sod it, I'm gonna make it in a war paint now. There you go.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
You know, just slap a bit of blue across it.
How do I
completely?
I like that. Lean into it. Lean into it. Like, no, I meant to have a tattoo. Or like you have one of the eyes and you mess up the dot and it's a big splotch of mess. Dump some red ink in there. That's a war wound, you know, moving on.
Exactly. Done. Next.
There are no mistakes in painting. They're just happy little accidents.
Exactly.
Bob
Gotta
Ross
love that
here.
Bob Ross moment.
This always goes back in like the painting zone. Do I think we're like, we all have our preferred techniques, our journey, trying to get some of the table, but you know, we want to be Vince Venturella, but we also want to be able to like not have our models pulled to the tournament. Anything in between is acceptable.
Yes.
I love Vince.
I have to say, I really like the idea of not being Vince Venturella. I like the idea of not being. I know. I'm sorry. I'm being that guy right now.
Be that guy. I'll be
that guy.
Do it.
I might take the other side of this argument, but let's see what happens here.
I like the idea of having those like either inefficiencies or the personality that comes into your painting from like the things that you choose to do.
Yes.
To work with whatever the situation is that you have, right? And like, yes, you can always go and learn some amazing techniques, but like the way that you apply them as an artist, like on your models, right? That's you distilled onto that plastic. And you can choose like a paint by numbers Games Workshop. Here's how they did it. I can follow that.
Yeah.
Which is just as good because those look amazing. Or you can be like, okay, I know I'm not going to be able to get these eyes done correctly. What if they're all possessed? So now I Let's
Little
go and
glow
dip into
effect
my
going.
fluorescent paint, right?
Yes.
Let's do
Absolutely.
some OSL. Let's figure something else out that will work for the specific, like issues that
Yeah.
I have as a painter.
Mm.
And that can create like a unique feel for the army that makes it stand out on its own. Maybe not to everybody else who's looking for a Vince Venturella top table paint, but for yourself and your friends, which is really what we're all here for, right? Just for
Yeah.
ourselves and our friends to have a good
It's
spot.
it's
Exactly.
true. I really got to jump into that one, Matt. I think two important things have to be said. One, totally agree with that. I think everyone can find like that way to work with what you got at the time, whatever's going on, even if it's temporary, if it's permanent, to like get that result you want. And that's part of the fun journey. Like applying those techniques in the way that works for you. The second is, man, I think you made it. If your goal was to not be Vince Venturella, you have arrived.
I mean, yes. The great thing,
poor Vince.
I mean, the great thing is that anybody can do that except Vince Venturella.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's screwed.
Exactly.
That's
I mean,
I'm-
he's never not going to be Vince Venturella, which, I mean, frankly, that's a lot to live up to for himself.
he's talked about that.
For-
I've
for
talked to
him.
him about that.
For him, the grass is always much more not Vince on the other side.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not greener because he has to go over it with so many highlights on his side. But
Oh God.
But I've been on Warhammer Weekly. He's been a GM for me for a RPG games for a charity event. We've done I had a little stint on another thing with Mephisto's Soulbound campaign.
Mm.
One of Vince's things is, he has to keep improving because he's him. And all those Golden Demon Award winning, all those people, they're always trying to push the newest technique and the newest thing and the newest way. And there's so much pressure on them to be just these awesome, amazing artists.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, that's cool. That's my contemporary. I don't got to be like that. I could be me. I'm good with dry brushing after that because, oh God.
I mean, the pressure really is off, right? When you're not trying to make like the perfect skank or whatever for like a golden demon, where you're like perfect highlighting everything. You're like, I put some contrast on that. Look, there's 10 more of them.
And you know what?
Yeah,
exactly.
Tell the difference.
And the great thing is, like, you don't have to separate that either, right? Like, just because you're not the Ravens doesn't mean you can't aspire to be the Baltimore Ravens, who are the best ever.
Sure.
Just
See
saying.
what you did there.
Yep.
No, it's like
Cheeky.
being as perfect as you can for yourself is way more important if you want to strive for that goal than being as perfect as Vince Venturella. We should just have like a good 2 minutes here where we just say his name over and over and over.
Vince Venturella.
I love
Maybe
Vince
we'll
Venturella.
summon him.
Again,
At
great
this point.
guy.
Good old Vince.
Very lovely.
Good old
Dog's
Vince.
great.
Definitely. Vince Venturella.
Vince
Now we're gonna
Venturella.
get
A ledge.
promoted.
What a guy.
Yeah.
From Ohio, not the great state of Michigan, but right near there.
It's okay. It's
not
someone's
everyone's
got to be.
perfect.
But
Yep.
Whatever algorithm crawls our audio for like brand unsafe content, just put us up so many more spaces next to his videos on YouTube. So
It's gonna be so weird. It's gonna be so
Nice.
weird for him. And
Yeah.
we're just gonna
it's be like, hang on a minute. Who's these guys? What the hell, man? What they doing?
Yeah.
What the fuck's wrong with Rocco? Why isn't he on
What
his
are you
YouTube
doing,
channel
man?
anymore? What's wrong? Who are
Like,
these
what are you
people that
doing, dude?
stole him?
I do think that
Yeah.
does like reach to another topic too, though, of like
Mhm.
how do you, and this is a question for everyone, which I'm going to leave you right before I have to jump because capitalism is the worst.
Oh shit! Yes, the enemy.
But
Quote Brennan Lee
one
Mulvey:
of-
"Capitalism's the enemy."
one of the questions I have for everyone, and this is more because I actually ran into this situation at the Sparkle Party GT. I was going through I have too much noise going on. I have the last day pain coming in, and I was starting to get a little uppity and did my little breaks and everything. And in that moment, I had a game with a very good friend of mine that ended up probably being a little bit more frustrating for him than it needed to be. And we went out and we had a good conversation afterwards and talked about what was going on in his life, and he was having some problems as well, right? And that became something where it was like walking into that game, I was so subsumed in all of my stuff, I hadn't even thought about what's going on in his life, right?
Yeah.
And so the question that I have, and the challenge for pretty much every player, mostly myself, is how do you make sure that you're giving the best game for your opponent that you can give as well? Because we don't really necessarily know what's going on with everybody. Like, we're all just nerds hanging out here trying to play games, trying to have the best time we can. So that's my question for everyone here is, how do you go about setting that stance of, hey, somebody else might be having their own problems that they're working through, their own disabilities that they're dealing with, and people don't necessarily want to open up right away with like, hey, I've got this going on in my life. You're here to play a game, right? How do you center? How do you bridge that gap without being overbearing, etc., yada yada yada?
Sure.
There's my monologue for now, and then
Nice.
I'm gonna dip.
Nice. Good luck with the capitalism, Matt. Thank you for setting this up.
Have fun at work.
I too having escaped some capitalism to be here, which is why I was late.
Sweet capitalism.
Yes, the overlord.
We can't pay the rent with hugs and kisses.
No.
If only.
Yeah, that's
unless you have an OnlyFans.
Oh, fair.
True.
No shade.
Oh no! Oh god!
Mostly,
our OnlyFans is Patreon.
Matt, go back to work.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm engaging in capitalism here too now. Okay, go join our Patreon to receive our OnlyFans fans.
Do join our Patreon, and to line it up with the OnlyFans, we're gonna add a new level called Feet Pics. It's very expensive.
Yeah,
but it's only the painted model feats that we have. So if you want to see how our models.
It's Cathalars, and it's Hobbits, and it's
get all those Hobbit pics, baby.
Yeah, and if you're on like a live stream version of it, you will paint it whatever color you want.
I do think I don't remember if we put it up. We had one of our Patreon tiers, which is a silly tier that we don't expect anyone to ever actually go for, but it's the OnlyFangs, where if we will paint you a vampire and send it over to you.
I love it.
Yes,
I love it.
Love that.
Oh my god. But when it comes to back to the topic at hand, Vincent Venturella. back to the whole. Also, there's Tom. They've got other hosts over there at Warhammer Weekly. We don't have to just pick on poor Vince. When it comes to how do you give your opponent a good game when you're dealing with stuff you don't know what they're dealing with, you've got all these things about you too. The first thing that comes to my mind is it's advice I got from when I was younger too, was before you can help anyone else, you got to make sure you've helped yourself.
Yes.
Sure.
In the sense that you need to make sure before you can go and take on, whether you're using the spoon analogy, how many spoons you have to deal with all the different problems and things you have throughout the world, you need to make sure that you yourself are okay. And it comes with one of the things, even with my lovely wife, Jackie, she at Rocco, your girl, whereas I'm Rocco, your boy. She was my doubles partner for a bit. We even got a trophy. She joked that she retired on top after we got second place at one tournament. But it was because part of it too was all the noise was so overwhelming, and it's been something that with her different mental health stuff with it's been something we've been trying to work with undiagnosed things that she has, loop headphones or different things where she just went to a concert for the first time in years. They are. She got the adjustable ones with the different sound settings too, because it was a gift to splurge. And I'm like,
Christine,
Yep.
And for those not watching.
Chef kiss.
They're so good.
Viewer appreciation here. This is good.
Viewer appreciation. Again, not sponsored, Vincent Venturella. But this product is just so good and you can get them on Amazon in the US for $30-$40. They're some are cheaper than others. You can find different brands that do a similar thing, but it's something that can go and filter out the different noise decibels for you. So that you can focus on the person talking right in front of you, or you can block them out and go for the concert going on down the way.
Yeah.
And there's different little tricks and gadgets and things that you can buy to be able to set yourself. Again, having your go bag that has all
Like
the
that.
medicine that you need, has all the products that you need.
I
That's
Being
was
such a good point.
I was gonna mention it earlier. We got sidetracked, but my friend Don has a fold out little rolly cart that just
Yes,
folds
I
up and
remember him
goes in his.
bringing that.
oh,
Yeah,
that's
Hmm.
great.
Well,
and it
then
is, and well, because he plays, he plays orcs in 40K, which is an unfortunate decision that he makes.
Yeah, that
But
could be that's a horde army over there if
oof,
you're not
oof,
yeah,
careful.
oof. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but that's like a 300 model army, very easy.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, easily.
yeah,
Especially
But
if you're
this,
going all Gretchen too.
yeah.
That can get to ridiculous numbers.
Fun.
this.
Yeah, you need some
Much fun.
killicans and
Oh
some
yeah.
war trucks there to make it.
Or just
But
all of it.
yeah,
You know,
But he's and I don't know that he specifically has any significant back problems or anything, but he's finding his way to make this work for
mhm.
him, with the strategy that
Yeah.
he play the game he wants to play.
And then I think the other thing of this too is once you have your thing, your set list, you have your idea of what you need to be able to succeed yourself too, is to remember to give that same grace you gave yourself to your opponent. Because again, we don't know everyone's history, medical history, mental health history, physical,
hmm
otherwise. We don't know what they're going through in their personal life with spouses and partners and family and whatever. You just don't know, and it's not on them to tell you either. But
Exactly.
giving them that grace to, you know, giving yourself space, or you're allowing yourself to fail in your hobbies with your painting, like me with the dry brushing earlier, and I'll never be Vincent Venturella. But all these
Yes, climb that SEO.
all these things that you're giving yourself, remember to give to other people as well,
Mhm.
because we just don't know. And this is a
Yeah.
social aspect. This is a game that we're playing with our
Mhm.
opponent. Like, I'm not going to go play with an asshole. I'm going to go play with a person. I'm going to be as nice as I can. We're going to build them up so they have a good, positive experience, as well as myself playing this game, telling this silly, crazy, stupid story of our armies running into each other head first, fighting for these weird
Yep,
circle
yep.
glyphs on the floor, that we're calling objectives
You
and going
know,
on.
I got to jump into that too, Rocco, because I totally agree with you, and I just want to go back to a second to like the foundational piece that which I really think you hit nail on the head, which is
Mm.
it starts with us, right? I mean, like to quote
Mhm.
Not
Rorschach
Vincent
from the old,
Venturella.
but maybe
Starts
him
with
too,
Vincent Venturella, yeah,
but
yeah.
Oh,
but to
okay,
quote
okay,
Good
okay,
old
uh,
okay.
Vince.
the quote, it was either Vince Venturella or Rorschach from The Watchmen.
Oh God.
I'm not
Ooh.
trapped in there with them. They're trapped in here with me. It starts with you,
Yes.
right? So
Right,
if
yeah.
you prep yourself to be a great opponent by trying to control for some of those things that are part of your situation, even while giving yourself some grace, it helps, right? Because it's a two-way
Yeah.
game. You can't do as much about them other than be understanding, but you can at
Mm-hmm.
least start with that. Like I
Yeah.
was thinking back to my own stuff, like if I'm going to a game and I have like a diabetes fueled high blood sugar, low blood sugar moment, I can
Mhm.
prepare for that. I can have a candy
Mm-hmm.
bar kicking around and not have to run 5 minutes
Drink your
away to
orange
find one
juice,
or
Jack.
pass out or something,
Yeah.
Oh
just
God, yeah.
these random examples. If I know that I am getting tired really easily or I have a back condition or sciatica, I can
Mm-hmm.
get a stool and bring it
Oh,
with
my
me so I
sciatica.
don't have to
Ugh.
like suffer and I can be more pleasant. There's all sorts of things that people can
Mm.
do.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it's
And
like
also I think go
with
for it, Christine.
with like whenever I have a game, it's like I'm very straight up with people, just going, look, if I zone out a little bit, it's not because I'm not paying attention, it's because I'm
Mm.
just collecting my thoughts. Or
Yeah.
I'm just like, sometimes if I say, oh, I need to go to the restroom, it's because I just need to have like a minute to myself. And a lot of the
Yeah.
time people are really good about it, but I have encountered a couple of people where they just take the piss a bit, and I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, don't be like that. Just don't,
Yeah.
you know. It's not cool. It's not cool. Just be
Oh.
No,
nice.
that's not cool. Those people are
Yeah.
assholes. I have no problem taking that stance.
Yes.
Having
Yes.
not being in the same room with them and anonymously on a podcast, very easy for me to call them out.
I think it's a
Yeah.
fair
Fucking
point too,
assholes.
right? Like it's a
Toss or
social
Zeal.
contract. Like if you show up to the taming table and you do all the things to give as much grace to your opponent as possible, and then you
Yeah.
try to be like,
Fucking
empathetic with their
Muppets.
needs, but they're not going to give you
Yeah.
an inch if you like get an emergency phone call from your spouse or something like that. You can't control for that. That's the third column.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, so I remember having one game at Warhammer World, and this bloke, bless his heart, it was his first weekend off in like 4 weekends. He was like, "Look, I've left my shop with my second, and everything's gone fucking wrong." And I was like, "My dude, just take as much time as you need, you know." And bless his heart, he did wipe me off the table, but at the same time, he was one of my favorite games of that weekend because he served me with the grace when I was having a bit of a panic. You know, thinking, shit, I'm going to win this game. Like, I can't see an out. So he just turned around and said, right, let's call it as my win, your loss, and we'll just have a fun game. Let's just chill. Yeah. You know, we don't have to worry about anything else. Let's just do that. You know, and then like it then meant that he could take as many calls as he needed to, you know, sort out the bits and bobs he needed, and I could just go and like lean on my husband, going, "Hey, how's it going?"
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's always at tournaments with me as well, and it makes me laugh when you get these folks in the hobby where they're like, "Yeah, we're a Warhammer couple." I'm like, "Darling, please, calm yourself. Me and my husband were here first."
Nice.
Yeah.
It's like we were here first in the tournaments. Do not mind.
Don't quote the old
Magic's to me.
Yes. So back in my day, young'un, you know, back in my day, there were no toilets for women.
Yeah.
You know, we had to go and like pretend to be a boy.
Go shit in a hole outside.
Exactly.
It's got common in many grand tournament venues about 10 years ago.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's like no like toilets at all for like even just unisex toilets would be helpful.
Yeah.
That would be really nice.
Yeah. No, that was when I first got back, because I had played fantasy for years when I was younger, but getting back into it, finding a game store where, you know, even my wife was comfortable, because we both got into it. Yeah. We split it. She took the Nighthaunt, I took the Stormcast. And we're like, we need a place that's safe, comfortable, and has a bathroom that she could use.
Yes.
That's a weird thing to say out loud. That should not be a normal thought process. That should just be there. That should just be it should be accommodating.
This is the thing. It's like one of the Warhammer events that we went to. It was like these really rickety buildings, and like it was spread over 2 floors. The store was upstairs, the gaming hall was downstairs. But the toilets, if the women wanted to use the toilet, they had to go out with a set of keys to the outhouse. Yeah. And we had to lock the door behind us. My husband called it the murder toilet.
Oh my gosh.
No.
To the point where anytime I needed to use the bathroom, because I wasn't feeling too great that day, I said to him, I was like, "Tall man, you're gonna have to come and stand outside the door or something, make sure no one comes in." And he was like, "Chrissy, if anyone's gonna start on you, you're the one that's gonna knock them out, not the other way, not the other way around." He was like, "I'm just gonna talk them down, you know." And I'm like, "Yeah." And then there's me just going, "Angels, what? Bang!" It's like, "Oh, sorry."
No, don't be at that point. Fuck them.
Yeah. But, it's just like, you know, there should be amenities for, you know, women and, you know, persons to, no matter what their, I don't know how to say the word, but the
whatever their bathroom
association.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, whether it be gender association, whether it be anything to do with obviously your disability, whether it be physical or you know, you
just
should
call
be able
them a
to
family restroom.
Exactly. Just
the toilet in your damn house or apartment or whatever the hell you live.
The bog. It's the toilet. The shit house.
So so if you live in the bog in France, you know, the toilet.
Exactly. It's like,
you're good at home, ain't you?
Exactly. It's like you just need to be able to use it, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like it's always just one big bugbear, because one of the other events that we went to, the women's toilets, they were just a storage area. And I'm like, guys, really?
Like it's one of those like utility, like it's in
the dumping room.
Yeah.
It's the back of the 7-Eleven.
That was a game store I went to in Delaware at one point with my wife, where because they had so few female customers, not for lack of trying.
Yeah.
But my wife went to go to the restroom and it was closed, and they just used it as storage.
Yeah.
And they're like, they removed the toilet. They're just they got rid of all the shit because they just never had anybody.
Yeah.
And it was this big output because there was a university nearby too. There was a bunch of girls getting D&D groups together. There was a bunch of models buying comic books coming through. But then they all left because no fucking toilet.
Exactly. Just a basic amenity of having a toilet that bloody works, a lock on the door that works.
Yep.
Actually putting female sanitation products in the bloody bathroom.
Yeah.
You know, because when you think of accessibility, you also have to think of that side of things.
Little trash can next to the toilet too. For
Exactly. Just
for the sanitation.
Away, you know.
There was a good game store we went to where the general manager was a woman, and she fucking there was nerd artwork in every bathroom. The shit was clean. It was called Gamers Heaven out in Pennsylvania, and it was for very long. It was. I missed that game store. But because we moved from there out to Washington D.C. now, but a few places in between. But you know, when you finally find that spot, you just hold on to it, and then you just tell all your friends. You get twice. You know, when over half the human race is women, female presenting, you know what? You're gonna get double the amount of fucking customers there.
Exactly.
Right? Looking into the camera, this is a podcast. You just hear me, but still.
So everybody at home knows Rocco's looking into the camera.
Yeah.
He's giving you the eyes, just going, do it.
The good eye too, not the bad one.
It's a very good point, vehemently made. My only worry about the whole thing is, Rocco, you might have gotten Vince Venturella demonetized with all those F-bombs.
Oh, God.
Damn it.
Yeah,
you know, get Vince Venturella sponsored toilets or something, you know.
Exactly. But
amazing.
Hello, everybody.
Really good point there, though, right? For TOs out there, when you're thinking about your events, like, take a second look at your venue, take a second look at like what you're doing. Like if you're putting together like a GT and you want your players to have a good time, maybe like look a little harder than just the first store is nearby you. If that store happens to be like murder toilet outhouse or everything's up a tight spiral staircase and nothing
exactly.
Accessibility, just because and also if you're carrying 20 tables worth of fucking terrain and also a bunch of tables up,
you might not want to go up 2 flights of stairs.
Exactly. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like I've even had to argue because I've started having to use the disabled toilets because they give me more space to be able to just do what I need to do. And like I had to argue with a store owner at a tournament that I was at, and we had frequented quite a lot, that I was allowed to use the disabled toilet. And I'm like, just because you can't see my disability doesn't mean it's not fucking valid.
Yeah.
You know, and he was just like, yeah, but you don't have a disability. And I was like, really?
That's outrageous.
And I was just like, and I just opened the door, walked in the toilet door, shut the door and said, fuck off. And just put the lock on. I was like, nah, mate, you're not getting in the way of me.
Well, but like, who's standing guard on the disabled like?
Yeah,
I've never heard of someone like being like the gatekeeper to it.
Yeah, I'm just like,
I've heard that for disabled parking spots. So my younger brother is very low functioning autism, but if you get like IQ 40, he talks through echolalia, not even normal speech. But again, looking at him, you'd never fucking know until he just starts flapping his hand. You know, he gets a moaning and having a good time. But you know, we had to get a placard to be able to park in the disability parking areas just to be able to take him around town and have him in our world. And the amount of dirty fucking looks we'd get.
Oh my God.
Of him coming out the car. Like, until they'd hear him moan once. And they're like, oh, like, you fucker.
It's like,
like at that point you have the placard. Like some government agency has validated that you have a disability. Like you should be like someone has looked into it and decided you needed a placard.
It's like trust the placard. It's there for a reason, right?
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly. It's like I do feel bad, like when I see in the UK, like when I see people parking in disabled spots and I don't see them use a like the badge, and I sit there and go, you shouldn't be parked there. And then I see her put a badge up and I'm like, oh, you bad person, Christine. Don't mention. I was like, no.
Mm-hmm.
So no gatekeepy. No.
Yeah.
We don't do that.
Yeah.
It sort of brings, I think, some of the stuff you guys have talked about up a really interesting thing to focus on the obvious versus non-obvious, like disabilities or just even stuff that people have going on that might be holding them back from just showing up and being like a perfectly healed for whatever they're doing at any given time. Because like the non-obvious stuff is still affecting people. It's like, like
Yeah.
high blood sugar, or they just like have a bad knee or whatever it is. Like you can't tell, but they could really be affecting them at a given moment where they're trying to engage in that game with you, or walk up the stairs to your tournament or whatnot.
Yeah. Honestly, even just walking up the stairs at our house is sometimes really difficult for me, to the point where like my husband has to like walk behind me to make sure I don't feel like I'm going to drop.
Yeah.
Because if I drop, I'm going to hurt myself. Not only myself, I'm going to hurt him and probably the cat as well. And that's three. That's three people I don't want to be injuring. It's like it's just like we've even started looking at bungalows and single floor living and been able to look down that avenue.
Yeah,
it's hard. It's difficult because like a lot of places they'll look at it and just go, no, sorry, you're not disabled enough. What?
Mm-hmm.
But are you sure about that?
we have a friend that's my wife's a lawyer. One of our friends is a disability rights lawyer.
Oh, wow.
And the amount of stories that you fucking get out of that. Are you disabled enough? What are you doing here and there? I'm like, motherfucker.
It's like, do what? It's like, are you not all that bright?
But I think so. To like bringing it back around to Matt's original question, right? Like,
sure, that's right. We all have this.
We all have these different things going on with us, right? And think about how good you are at masking your own issues, whatever they are, and assume you have to assume that your opponent is masking whatever they got going on at least as well as you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, give them that grace, man. You don't know what they're going through. There was one of my favorite games I've ever played. It was a guy he had Slaves to Darkness. It was all corn, but he was missing his right eye. I said between us, we both could see the table.
There we go.
Nice.
He looked at me. He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm blind in my left eye. This will be a hoot." Nice. So we chose table sides too to make sure we each could see the fucking table right.
Yes, that is the best way to do it.
And we just giggled the whole fucking time. Yeah.
Did he wear like an epic eye patch to go to Slave Darkness?
No.
Really cool.
No, he didn't. It was just all like his eye was just skin. Just the skin had grown over in the eye socket. And he's just walking around. Wow. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. And I'm like, you're not gonna believe this.
Oh my god.
And he's like, what? I'm like, I'm blind too. It's great.
He's just like, look at it.
Yeah. It's the thing that's all fucked over now. Look, you got this.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if we stand together, we're good. We've got full vision. We've got full peripheral vision.
We can play as a team and still be good for one army.
I like to imagine that I would have a really good sense of humor about that kind of thing, but
he pissed himself laughing. It was great.
Oh, I bet no. But I meant more like like if I had like just the empty eye socket, that I'd put something really weird in there, something like that.
Oh my god, make a tiny purple sun.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah, get that as a glass eye.
Yes.
Oh, there would be so many fun possibilities for that. I mean, obviously,
downsides. The googly eyes.
Oh god. I'm gonna keep that in mind. If this eye ever actually fully goes, I need it removed. Googly eye. You're right.
There you go. Just say to your doctor, it's like while you're in there, replace it with a googly eye. It's like, okay, my friend, stitch it up.
But you gotta have this almost morbid sense of humor about yourself too, to be able to go through all this, or else life just fucking sucks. Yeah. We can't all be Vincent Venturella, lover of the Muppets. Okay. Fun fact. No, he does. Yeah, no, Kermit the Frog. He's got posters of it, the whole bit.
Nice.
I
feel like.
Oh gosh.
The worst part is, so a buddy of mine is he does like playtesting stuff with Vince too. He's been kicking his ass up and kind of having a little inside bit. Not that Vince even probably fucking remembers me because he's so busy with all this other shit. But every time I go to a tournament, a GT or a big convention, and he's there, we always mean that like friends are like, "Oh yeah, go hang out with Rocco. You two haven't seen each other in a bit." We miss like ships in the night.
Yeah, every time.
Every fucking time. So I just phantomly give him shit, I guess, as a running joke, and then y'all started this naturally. So
there we go. I think
That's
we've
great.
come to a good Vincent Venturella.
We did too.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a bad Vincent Venturella either.
You know,
Seems reasonable. Seems reasonable.
I love it.
Yeah. Christine, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah,
And
you're a gem.
laughing with us and sharing your story.
Likewise.
Absolutely. You can check out all of Christine's amazing painting on everywhere on the internet at
we didn't even ask, what are you working on? What's your latest project?
So at the moment, it's literally I've got every single bloody project going on my desk that I possibly can. I swear I must be in another world, ADHD with this.
Oh,
but
sure.
I'm working on Paul found a load of old Sylvaneth, so I've painted up the Branch Witch, so I'm gonna do a spearhead for that.
Nice.
I've got a lot of Stormcast.
Okay. And you said you're because you had a writer you were worried about. That's all been revealed, everything, so you can talk about it?
Yeah, everything is all revealed. Yeah, it's all
cool,
the Stormcast stuff.
How cool are those Stormcast cats?
Oh my god, yes.
Right? I almost don't miss my Thundercats anymore because those look so cool.
Sod it. Like we're repainting those Thundercats into Thunder Cuties.
Right?
It's like I painted up like the whatever the I think his name's Taunus or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's looking real good.
Yeah. Sorry, viewers, you can't see this, but the rest of us,
it's good. Yeah,
beautiful.
Well, you'll have to find her on Twitter and Instagram and
looking
all that good stuff.
Yeah,
and you're on Blue Sky now too, right?
I was using it for a while, but I just got bored of it because I was like, there's too many bloody social platforms.
There's too many things. Yeah,
isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth?
I'm just like, I'm happy with my Instagram and my Twitter, but at least I can mute those.
There you go, folks. Instagram and Twitter. Follow.
Absolutely.
Just get the big buy now signs. Follow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Matt, edit that in for the YouTube. I know we have this playing over a game. There's something you're doing. Just buy now and a face of Vincent Venturella afterwards. So it's not like we're trying to buy Vince.
Exactly.
It's not like he's trying to endorse it.
Cash for gold. Yeah.
Maybe cut in some pics of Christine's awesome minis. Yeah, all this good stuff.
Yeah. Oh my god. Thanks everybody for listening all the way to the end. Please like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah.
Click notifications, subscription. What else do we do?
Engage the algorithm overall.
Engage algorithm.
Hit all the buttons.
Comments. Subscribe,
all of the
5
things.
stars.
Get your routines.
Tell your enemies.
Tell your friends.
Open the
tell
keyboard
your lovers,
and
tell
just
your haters.
slam your fist into it.
Yeah.
Tell Vincent Venturella. Tell him. Maybe we'll get him on in an episode.
Exactly. Tag him in the comments.
Tyler
Tom, tag him in the comments wherever you have.
Tag him everywhere.
And if you'd like to tell us directly how much you like having us repeat Vince Venturella's name and also in a podcast, please subscribe to at least the lowest level to Patreon so you may do so in comment.
Goodness gracious.
We do. We have a nice little Discord that we are growing with Patreon members and guest stars and all sorts of other fun people from around the community, and it's a good time.
Yeah, my dumbass is there too. It's great.
And Rocco's there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's only a question of who will get the last word.
That's always the question. Matt's not even here, so we're just gonna wait, and we might have to find out in post.
Wait, Miles, do you have the ability to turn this recording off?
Oh, how do I? Hang on. I have.
Yeah, but Christine, because if you haven't seen, we do a joke of whoever gets the last phrase saying or whatever, and
it's just like just go word at the end.
And Matt's normally our bus driver, but there's no one.
But I don't know if we can turn off the bus. Oh no, we're going to a cliff.
We're basically in the movie Speed now. But
oh my god, yes! I need to rewatch that film.
Yeah, I just saw it again the other day. Oh, I love it so much. It's so goofy.
It really is.
I wonder if I try to start recording, will it stop Matt's recording?
Maybe.
Possible.
It's like setting a fire to stop a fire, except that actually kind of works.
Well,
It sucks the air out.
Empirical engineering here we got going.
Okay.
well, okay. I don't seem to have the button. He'll just have to come back on after his
have the
meeting,
button.
stop the recording, and figure it out. So we're done. Hooray!
Hooray!
Awesome.
Oh, that's great.
Man.
But yeah, Christine, thank you so much again
Yeah,
for coming
thank
on. I
you.
really appreciate it. This was a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah, it
you
was
for
a
letting
blast,
me
Christine.
sit
Thank
here
you.
and just chat the breeze.
Absolutely.
Oh, of course.
And you're in the Discord now. You're a guest star. So if you have an idea for an episode, something you want to come on and talk about, just you know how to reach us. And feel free to hang out and share. Everybody's got too many Discords, so I won't like hold it against you if you don't want to come.
Yeah, no, as a moderator and a few still, I'm just like, ugh.
It's like clam the fucking keyboard, and just go, yes, post, comment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm in one too many Discords as well. It's just like a lot of Discords. I'm like, guys, enough with the Discord.
I know, sign of the times with that.
Yeah, the old post-COVID times. Love it.
Yeah.
But
the loop earbuds. Seriously, if
honestly,
sound is a
they
thing,
are brilliant.
I'm writing this down. What was it? It was Hoop?
Loop. LOOP. My wife used them actually to go see Pentatonics recently.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, no, it was a good concert. She's been like a super fan of them since they were on whatever that show was.
They were very hot when they blew up at one point. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I recall them. Yeah,
they still filled like I think it was like a 10,000 seat open air arena at that she went to go see him in September, and those loop earbuds made it so she could actually. It was like she had never been to a concert before. She said, like, just how she was able to hear and not worry about everyone screaming and freaking out. Matt, write this down too, because you said this before. I know you probably already cut this, but
there's a reasonable chance everything you say now will be on an episode.
yeah.